Hello students, this is your Professor Lázaro Pino, and today we are going to begin studying iron. We're going to have in the class a brief story of iron, the chemical element in the periodic table, the characteristics, and the importance of iron in the production for any country. We can see that the first element, a metal, iron, that was discovered was from the meteorites. Some meteorites contains more than 90% of iron, and it was used by men to produce certain tools. The Iron Age began 5000 before Jesus Christ, Iraq, before Mesopotamia. And it changes the history of man a lot, because before was used bronze, but in Europe and Asia, iron dominated the tool making and was very important because changed all the history of man. The chemical element symbol is Fe, as you can see here. The melting point is 1538 Celsius degree. Here you have the electron configuration. The atomic number is 26. It's a metal that belongs to the transition elements. And the boiling point and the melting point are very high, as you can see. The atomic mass is around 55.8 atomic mass units. The origin of metal casting comes from 32,000 before Jesus Christ, and we can find here a frog made of copper. It was made in Mesopotamia. In 2000 before Jesus Christ, iron was discovered. It was used, as I told you before, from meteorites that contains more than 90% of iron. Between 800 and 700 before Jesus Christ, we found the first production of iron in China. Also in China, in 645 before Jesus Christ, we found the first sand molding, and the first plowshares were poured in 233 before Jesus Christ. In India was produced the first crucible of steel, but it would disappear until 1750 when Benjamin Huntsman rained an iron furnace where the mineral is introduced into here, melted, and we get iron to be used for different uses after. Here you can see that we can divide the iron alloy that contains certain amounts of carbon into steel when they contain less than 2% of carbon, and cast iron when it is more than 2% of carbon in the iron alloy. We can divide iron into hypoeutectic and hypereutectic. The eutectic is around 4% of carbon, and the steel can be divided into the eutectoid, that it contains 0.83% of carbon. Before below this amount of carbon, we have the hypoeutectoid, and above 8.83% of eutectoid. It is very important to know that even though iron can be corroded so easy, is the most important of all the metals. Is one of the metals that is more refined every year, and we can see that it's very strong and cheap metal. And we can find this in all the instruments around us, from equipments until surgical devices. Then, in the following classes, we are going to study the diagram of iron-carbon alloys. Thank you very much and see you.